I'm Ethan. Back in 1996, I was a junior at Winston High School and worked the weekend closing shift at my local burger joint, Ahab's Burgers. It was an ocean-themed restaurant. The inside looked like a pirate ship with all kinds of oceanic decorations, and even our front counter had a helm in the front. It was whimsical and attention-getting. However, I experienced something very deadly and unexplainable almost 30 years ago. I'm posting this on this subreddit to maybe find someone to help me figure this out, because I'm not quite sure what I experienced, even to this day. Here it goes. My shift went off without a hitch as usual. A group of kids from my class would come in every Saturday night after they'd been out drinking since the final bell of 7th period the day before. They would order the same thing every time. Each got a crow's nest burger, large meaty rings, and a cherry Coke. They usually sat around for about 3 to 4 hours until we kicked them out at closing time. As most of them stumbled to their cars and drove home, Tyler, the jokester of the group, almost always gave me grief before he stumbled out of the double doors. He kinda had a thing for Kate, my coworker, who went to the other high school on the other side of town, but he creeped her out, so she wasn't interested in him. I think them coming to the restaurant every Saturday was his idea, just so he could look at Kate, who was his eye candy. I will admit she was not bad to look at. She had a spooky goth personality with black hair and lipstick to match. She always wore a typo negative shirt under her apron. We were friendly towards each other, but I never made a move on her. As Tyler stumbled out of the doors with his Saturday routine, he would tell me a bad joke before he left to end the night. This one still haunts me to this very day. "Hey Ethan, why did the panda fall out of the tree?" he asked. "I don't know, Tyler. Why did it?" I asked back. Tyler snickered a little bit before he told me the punchline in a drunken state. He threw his arm over my shoulder and pulled me in, because it was fucking dead. He began to laugh like a moron, punched me on the shoulder, and waddled to his car. Like I said, it was a bad joke. I can still smell the matey rings and whiskey on his breath. It was a winning combination. As I locked the doors behind him, I saw Kate shudder. "That guy gives me the creeps," she stated. I shook my head in agreement as I walked over to their table to bus what remained of their meals. I noticed Tyler left his switchblade in the booth. I rolled my eyes and put it in my jean pocket. I told myself to give it back to him next Saturday night. As I finished wiping down the table with a damp rag, I heard a ding and crackle coming through my headset. Someone was in the drive-thru. I sighed as I pushed the middle button and said in a pirate accent, "Arr. Welcome to Ahab's Burgers. Unfortunately, we be closed. Please come again at 8 a.m., where we serve you the best breakfast on the 7 seas matey. It's a whale of a meal. Arr." I rolled my eyes because I hated saying that, but Mr. McPherson forced me to have to say it every time. The crackling continued for a few seconds, and then a voice boomed over my headset. "Why did the panda fall out of the tree?" It was Tyler, asking in a menacing tone. "Tyler." I started, "Get the hell out of the drive-thru and go home." I shouted. There was nothing on the other end, so I assumed Tyler was gone. About 10 minutes later, I heard another ding and crackling in my ear again. "Why did the panda fall out of the tree?" Tyler said more impatiently. I told him to go home again and to stop playing around, or I would call the cops. Then silence, once again. Kate eventually took off her headset because she was tired of the rigmarole. I didn't blame her, but one of us had to have the headset on at all times. Guess it was my turn. Lucky me. As I was mopping the floors about 30 minutes later, the same sounds came from my headset. "Why did the panda fall out of the tree?" He yelled so loudly that his voice broke up in my ear. I told Tyler that that was the last straw and that I was calling the cops. Just as I said that, a body crashed through the front door glass. Kate screamed and I grabbed her and we hid behind the front counter. It took me a moment, but I worked up the courage to examine it. Kate begged me not to, but my curiosity got the best of me. I rolled the body over. It was Tyler. He had scratches all over his dead body and was covered in blood. Kate was as white as a ghost when I told her who it was. I immediately ran back to the counter and dialed 911 on the restaurant's wall phone. Hastily, I gave them my name and the restaurant name and address. The operator told us to stay put until an officer arrived. I went against the operator's demands and assured Kate that we would be safer on the roof. Kate didn't hesitate and agreed. I grabbed her hand as we ran to the back door and climbed up the ladder to the roof. The gravel on the roof crunched under our shoes as we got to the top. I surveyed the parking lot from the roof to see if I could spot anyone. The lights illuminated nothing but our cars in the parking lot. Our tires were slashed. Kate was on the opposite end of the roof, hyperventilating, with black stains on her cheeks from her running mascara. She was rocking back and forth in the fetal position, denying what she just saw. Tyler was a creep, but he didn't deserve that, she said to me with a shaky voice. Just then, I saw a ghoulish arm hovering behind Kate as it grabbed her shoulder and ripped her throat. It pulled her off the roof. I ran towards her, but I couldn't get to her fast enough. I heard her screaming, then the sound of her body impacting the asphalt, followed by silence in the windy fall air. I closed my eyes and began to cry hysterically. I opened them and saw a shadowy figure leap from the edge of the roof and ascend 10 feet into the sky. It landed right in front of me. I had never seen anything like it. It looked like a human, but the characteristics were off. That's the best I could describe it. It looked at me and transformed into Tyler, and in his voice it asked, "Why did the panda fall out of the tree?" I sat there hyperventilating as it pointed to where it pulled Kate off the roof. It snickered, transformed into Kate, and said in her voice, because it was fucking dead. It began to lunge at me as I stumbled to get up. I had remembered Tyler's knife in my pocket, and just as it got to me I opened it up and sliced it right on the belly. Still in the form of Kate, it stared at me and began to cry. "Ethan, why did you do that? That hurt so much." There was blood dripping from its fingertips as it did a supersonic screech. I gasped and covered my ears. I dropped the knife and crawled to the ladder, descending to the ground. I saw a police car in the distance, and I immediately ran to it. As I waved down the car, the officer got out, and she asked me what happened. I told her about Tyler and Kate, and my encounter with the creature. I took her back to the restaurant to show her. With her gun drawn, I walked her through the front entrance. Tyler's body was gone. The only thing left was shattered glass and a pool of blood on the faux wooden floor. We ran to the back door, and just like Tyler's, Kate's body was also gone, only splattered blood remained. We then went up to the roof to find nothing but more blood and Tyler's knife. We got off the roof and the officer put me in the squad car with her, and drove us away like a bat out of hell to the station. When we arrived at the station, I gave her my statement, and she called my parents, followed by Mr. McPherson. I was still trying to process what I experienced. When the officer left me alone, I sobbed like a baby in that interrogation room with a blanket over my shoulders for what felt like hours. I couldn't help but blame myself for Kate's death. If we didn't go to the roof, she would still be alive. Her death was on my hands. Why was I still alive? I don't know. What was that thing? I only wish that I knew. What happened to Tyler and Kate's bodies? I may never get answers to these questions, and that, to me, is truly terrifying. Once in a while I see Tyler and Kate's missing posters at the grocery store. They've faded over time. Ahab's closed down because of the incident. They demolished it and put a Starbucks there 5 years ago. The town eventually moved on, but not me. I never forgot. I tried to attend Kate's mother's funeral last spring. Kate's dad spotted me and told me he was going to kick my ass if he ever saw me again. I respected his wishes. I spend most of my days researching what the creature could have been. I've found nothing. That's why I'm here. The rest of the guys who ate at Ahab's blamed me for Tyler's disappearance as well. I garnered a reputation as the person who, if anyone gets close to me, they'll die. I can't say that I blame them. I wouldn't have believed me either about a creature of the night that murdered 2 kids and snatched their bodies. Hauntingly, to this day, I have the question, why did the panda fall out of the tree? It echoes through my head. It drives me mad every time.
I wake up at 6:30 in the morning, every damn morning, to help open my family's restaurant. My dad opened a barbecue place and put our name on it 6 years ago, and made his children his slaves. I haven't had much luck finding another job since I got my own place. I had an offer that fell through after I fought with my father to let me accept it and move out. He said I would regret it, and he was right, so being back at my family's place is embarrassing. This morning felt heavier for some reason, even the sun seemed to have a hard time coming out. I groan as I pull my covers over my face and then slam them back down beside me. I swing my legs to the side of my bed and walk to my bathroom like a zombie. When I turn the light on in my bathroom, it's a jump scare. I look like a zombie too. I grimace as I turn on my sink and splash cool water in my face. I reach for my toothbrush and spread the toothpaste on it before placing it in my mouth to scrub all of the overnight grime away. The peppermint tingles on my tongue while I spit out the foam. I give myself an exaggerated smile in the mirror. Hi, welcome to Carlisle's. Would you like to fuck off? I say mockingly. I chuckle to myself and step into my shower. The hot water seems to perk me up a bit, but my mood is still sour. I hear my phone trilling on my bedside table. It's my father's ringtone, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. The sound is more eerie when being played in the room next to you. My eyes roll to the back of my skull as I shut my shower off and stumble out into my bedroom. Yes? I answer annoyingly. My father sighs on the other end. Just making sure you were awake. Are you ready yet? I clutch my phone until my fingers get sore. It irritates me that he's been more of an ass since I told him the new job didn't pan out. Just about. Give me 15. I breathe out angrily. He exhales sharply, piercing my ear. I close my eyes tightly. Sorry, Dad. I just woke up. I'm just tired. I didn't mean to snap at you, I say while I rub my temples. He accepts my apology with a grunt and hangs up. I throw my phone on the bed and grab my pillow. I slam my face down into it and unleash the rage that was caught in my throat. If I didn't have anything to muffle the noise, I'll bet the neighbors would have thought I was being murdered. I feel like I am, just in the psychological sense. I throw on my maroon t-shirt with the restaurant logo, my black pants, and my non-slip shoes. Since my dad is rushing me, I throw my hair up into a bun and just apply mascara. Before I head down to my car, I force another smile to myself in my mirror. Hello, welcome to Carlisle's. Please kill me. I grit out. I leave my one-bedroom apartment and get into my beat-up sedan that I bought from a sketchy car lot. I needed something cheap and on the fly, so my options were limited. It gets me from point A to point B on a good day, stale, lingering cigarette smoke, and all. I start my noble steed and make it to the restaurant in 20 minutes. My dad pulls up at the same time and we walk to the door in silence. He jingles his keys as he looks for the restaurants and then unlocks the door with a loud click. He grunts as he pushes the door open and reaches for the light switches. The restaurant illuminates, displaying the Western decor and cowboy murals on the wall. There is this one painting that gives me the creeps every morning. Its eyes follow you. I might be sleep deprived and or crazy, but I would be willing to bet my life on it. I keep my gaze straight ahead to avoid the creepy painting, hold my breath, and beeline it to the kitchen. I feel the grease slap my face as soon as I walk through the flapping doors. I let myself breathe again when I get to one of the fryers. I walk away as the oil heats to tend to my other opening duties. We don't open until 10, but my father insists that it's better for prep to start this early. I peek at my watch to see it's barely 7:45. I toss my head back and groan before I go back to my vegetables. My father walks in with a bank envelope in his hand. "Bank run," he lowly grumbles. I nod my head and pierce my lips. He half waves on his way through the back door. When I know the coast is clear, I turn my music on my phone before my ears are violated by the country music we have on a loop. I sing along to Fall Out Boy while I finish my vegetable prep and dance over to check the fryers. Bang! I nearly slip when I jump at the noise. It echoes throughout the entire kitchen. "Dad?" I shout out. Nothing. All I hear are the kitchen appliances and my music. I creep to the door and peek on the other side of the restaurant. Empty, except something on the ground catches my eye. I slink out into the dining area, still weary of an intruder. I get closer to the object. It looks like a piece of metal. I pick it up and examine it. It's pointy like a spur from a boot. It must have fallen off the wall or a shelf somewhere. I take in my surroundings while I twirl it with my fingers. I don't see anything out of the ordinary until I look directly in front of me. The creepy man from the mural is missing. Missing? It's a painting. They can't just walk off. Crash! I jump and spin around. The noise came from the kitchen. I drop the spur and start walking towards the flap doors. I hold my breath and look between the slits. I see metal bowls on the ground and some of the vegetables from my prep earlier. As I try and think of a reasonable explanation, I feel something sharp pierce through my back. It hurts and it burns so badly, I let out a loud scream. I turn to see what it is, and I'm met with those haunting eyes from the mural and a sinister smile. What? How? I tremble. The man keeps the same expression while I back into the kitchen. I want to run to the back door, but my body isn't letting me. I scurry and limp the best I can until I feel a push. I catch myself on the prep table and stumble over my feet. The man smiles more manic now, and his chest releases a few chuckles. "Please, stop." I beg in a scream. He yanks me by my shirt and drags me over to the fryers. I try to escape his grasp, but he's too strong. I cry and sob, snot and tears drip down my face. The man takes his other hand and grips my ponytail back. I yelp as it stings my scalp. Then he pushes me face down into the fryer. It stings and burns at first and then becomes excruciating pain. I try to yell, but it's useless while I'm drowning in this grease. I feel myself fading and I succumb to it. I don't know how much time had passed when I hear my dad screaming. I'm still too weak. I can't open my eyes or my mouth. I feel my body lift and land on something firm. "We got a pulse." I hear another voice shout. I'm being wheeled around. I feel the movement underneath me. Footsteps are following urgently behind me. I barely open my eyes to catch a glimpse of the mural. The man is back against a fence post, smiling sinisterly, and one spur missing. If I make it through this, nobody is going to believe me. I guess it's true what they say, be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. I asked for somebody to kill me, and I might have just gotten it.
$15 an hour sounded pretty sweet even if it was a dead-end fast food job. Straight out of high school. I didn't have the desire to attend college. I was smart enough, but just didn't give a shit. All I wanted was to make money and get the hell out of the shitty town I grew up in. But that didn't happen. I'm still stuck here, and now being forced to remember all of the terrible things that happened. I don't know if it was the trauma of everything that happened that night, or if I just still don't really give a shit, but apparently, I have some repressed memories. I don't know. Court-mandated therapy is requiring me to write all of it down. And this therapist is every single stereotype. He's a woohoo crackpot from the city who thinks writing my feelings will help me remember and process this crap. But nah. It's not going to do anything but fill out a notebook so that I can get back to life and getting the hell out of here. Advice from the not-so-wise: don't get caught doing drugs in the back of an abandoned fast food joint when your dad is still the sheriff of the podunk piece of shit town you live in. Because then, instead of going to jail, you'll get stuck in a stupid rehab program like me. 2 years later, and I'm almost done with the court-mandated therapy. Hopefully, this is the last step. Anyway, back to writing about what happened that night. I was 17. Had just graduated high school the week before. Did the stupid cap and gown ceremony to make mom and dad happy, but really, I just wanted to move on. I was the oldest of 5. And an overachiever. Which led my parents to expect so much more out of me than the others. They did their best, and I don't blame them. Well, maybe a little. I just wanted to have a job so that I'd be out of the house most of the time and making money so I could move out, find another town, and start living my own life away from the expectations. My dream was to be an author. Which my parents did support, but also didn't trust that I'd be successful. So off I went to make a name for myself and prove them wrong. It was the first Monday of summer vacation for most. For me, it was the first day of life. I started at a little no-name fast food restaurant that had been in our town since my grandpa was a kid. BB's Burgers. It was an adobe building, painted white, with red trim, and an obnoxious southwestern mural painted on the side that the sun had faded so badly you could barely tell what it was anymore. At least, that's how I remember it. It's gone now. Condemned after that night, and some company bulldozed it and eventually sold the lot to a used car dealership. Probably for the best. No one would have wanted to eat there after that night anyway. I was training for drive-thru. I had a peppy voice and the manager thought that would be the best place for me. My manager and coworkers were cool. A little over-friendly, but then again, everyone was. It was customer service. All of us put our customer service masks on when we walked in that door. The job was easy enough. Manager walked me through the first few orders. Everything was still pretty old school. Owner wanted to pay better wages, so he didn't upgrade equipment. My first customer drove up. I opened the window with a pen in hand, order pad ready to go, and an obnoxiously large smile strapped across my face. Hi there. Welcome to BB's Burgers, what can I get for you today? The old man at the window scoffed. You must be new. I want a number 2, extra cheese, no tomatoes, add bacon. I want fresh fries. Not shit that's been sitting in old oil. And a coffee. Black. Oh, and a banana milkshake for the wife. And hurry up. I don't have all day. I brushed my hair behind my ear and said yes sir, coming right up. Thanks for stopping in at BB's, and we hope you have a beautiful day. I looked up above his old pickup before I shut the window to turn in his order when a brand new Escalade caught my eye. It was parked at the gas station across the lot. Odd. No one around here makes that kind of money. Must be passing through. I just moved on with my day, served the grumpy old man his food, and made a note on the back of my notebook not to forget his order. A couple hours went by. It was an easy job, and moved quickly. It was time for my break. 15 minutes and counting. I decided to get some fresh air. Slid my phone out of my pocket and sat down on one of the benches outside the front door. I decided to just doom scroll for a while. I opened Snapchat. All my friends were posting stories about their rad graduation trips, and I was a little jealous. I tapped through a bunch of them when I realized out of the corner of my eye, there was that Escalade again. This time, parked across the street in the lot of the old courthouse. It was abandoned now. The town built a new one and hadn't decided what to do with that rundown building yet. But I couldn't imagine what an out-of-towner would want with a dilapidated, roach-infested building like that. Who knows? Maybe some hotshot investor thought they could bring some life into this town. Ha! Joke's on them. Nothing will bring life to this god-forsaken place. Ugh. 15 minutes up already. I got up to walk back in, when I saw the Escalade door open. It was a woman. About my height. Dressed head to toe in bright red. Long bouncy blonde curls draped over her shoulders. Bright red sunglasses covered her eyes, and her bright red lipstick stuck out with the grimace on her face. She was marching over to me. And quickly. Her red leather blazer reflecting the sunlight into my eyes, and the sounds of her stiletto heels crunching the asphalt echoed in my ears. I smiled at her and she approached me. She got closer, so I said, "Hi there. Welcome to BB's Burgers. We're not an indoor restaurant, but I'm happy to take your order and bring it out to you. Just trying to be good at my job. I guess. I don't want a goddamn greasy burger. I want to know why you keep staring at me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stare. I just recognize most people in this town, and I didn't know you. You're one of them, aren't you? I'm sorry, ma'am, but I don't think I understand. One of them? What do you mean? You know damn well what I mean. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry if I have offended you. I didn't mean to. I promise. But I don't know what you're talking about. If you so much as look at me again, little girl, I will hunt you and your family down, understand? Understand? Yes, ma'am. Yes. I understand. I'm sorry. Now, I'm leaving this place. Evidently, you people have a knack for finding me, no matter how far I go. But your children. Someday, someone will believe me. And your ass will be served the justice it deserves. Then she clomped away, back to her Escalade before speeding off. I caught the state on her license plate. Ohio. Weird. Wonder what she was doing here, what in the world she was talking about, and why she decided I was such a threat. I went back to work and carried about my day. Nothing else weird happened. But I was exhausted as I drove home. I didn't have to stay to lock up, thank God. Since it was my first day, they let me go home and rest. I got home around 9 p.m. The fam had left for vacation this morning, and I was so looking forward to a quiet house. That was a vacation I was not jealous of. I got to be home, alone, in my room, with no griping parents or siblings to harass me. I decided to get on my laptop and see if I could find anything weird in Ohio that would give me any clue as to what that crazy lady was talking about. I opened Google Chrome and got to it. Ohio violent kids. Nothing but a bunch of random articles about mild juvenile delinquents. Crazy blonde lady, Ohio. That brought up a huge thread of hilarious stories on Reddit that distracted me for a solid hour. I searched on Reddit. Unsolved mysteries with teens, Ohio, recent. Again, a bunch of random shit. I can't remember everything from that search, because the end of that search is what started it all. I don't remember which sub I was on, but I found a post from a week prior with only 2 upvotes and no comments. It just said, "Beware the teens that come to your door at night. They're bloodthirsty heathens. Only God can save you." Okay. Weird. I gave it an upvote though, maybe with more attention. Someone will comment. Then I commented what happened. A crazy lady just drove through my town in NM accusing a working teen of being one of them. What was she talking about? I immediately got a reply. I've already said too much. They're watching this post. Elaine was right to be crazy. If they saw you with her, you're in danger too. What the hell? Freaking weirdos. I decided to ignore that bullshit and just go to bed. I had to work the late shift tomorrow and wanted to get a workout done in the morning and some writing in the fantasy novel I was creating. I woke up the next morning, groggy, and stinking of old grease. Gross. Why didn't I shower? Whatever. I'll shower after my run. I slipped out of bed and put on my running clothes and shoes and headed out the door. 2 miles around the neighborhood is all I needed to do today. So I started. There were a lot of parked cars on the streets today. A lot of them I didn't recognize, but it was summer. People were probably getting their annoying visits with the family that lived here over with before they had their actual vacation. Nothing weird on my run. Not that I remember. I got home, unlocked the door, walked in, and flopped on the couch. My legs were like jello. I decided to check my phone before hopping in the shower. I had another notification from Reddit. I opened it. It was another comment. Lost contact with Elaine. In danger. Okay, freaking creep. And I got in the shower. Then I wrote a little. I don't remember what. It's all kind of a blur now. Then I drove to work. I got there and it was crazy busy. I took the initiative and immediately jumped on drive-thru. I asked my manager, why is it so busy? We're a ghost town right now. Oh, it's just some dumb kids. Probably all caravanning for a post-graduation road trip. I'm glad you're not like them. Good luck. They're annoying. Oh, and all of them say the name for their order is Elaine. My alarm bells rang, and my stomach fell through my butt. I remember quickly dismissing it as a random coincidence and jumping into action. Irritating order after irritating order. All for Elaine. All random a la carte items. Each teen ordered like 2 or 3 separate times, and there were 11 of them. But every once in a while, we'd get a break from them and get one of our normal guests, who were friendly and easy. Thankfully, the old guy from yesterday had already come and gone by the time I got there. 5 minutes to close, and those kids were wrapped around the building again. I had to warn each one that it would be their last time through the window before we closed. They each responded with, "Oh, you close? That's weird." Which I also thought was weird. Like, duh. We're closed. Last one. I shut the window and locked it. All of them still parked in the parking lot, all out of their cars now, laughing and eating and having a good time. Poor kids are going to be pissed when I shut down the parking lot lights. I waited until last to do that, just so they'd have some time to goof off. All the closing duties done. Swept. Mopped. Ready for the morning shift. There were 5 employees closing. All we had to do was shut down the lights and the parking lot, and we could go home. I went to the office to turn the lights off while everyone else was grabbing their stuff from the break room. I heard the electrical hum of the lights outside shutting down. Then I heard a sound I will never forget. All of the teens began screeching. And not like a normal "hey, who turned off the lights" kind of screech, but a screech that vibrated in my bones. Like a war cry. The manager came to the office and threw me the keys. "You can lock the front door. There's a trick to it, and I have to show you." Right about that time, I heard glass breaking. From all over. The manager, startled, looked at me, and said hide, and call the police. He grabbed the knuckle buster tucked behind the door, and quietly shut it on his way out. I dialed 911 as I locked the door. At least they couldn't unlock it. I had the keys. 911, what's your emergency? Whispering, yeah, hi, this is Jenny. I work at BB's Burgers and I think we're getting robbed. Sheriff is out of town, ma'am, but we'll send the deputy right over. I know the sheriff is out of town, he's my dad. Hi, Karyl. Please hurry. Jenny. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I didn't even think about you not going with them. I'll tell the deputy to hurry. Did you get a look at the perp? Screaming. My manager was screaming. This wasn't a robbery anymore. Someone was hurt. Karyl heard the scream and told me to hide, don't speak, but keep the line open. I know it's just her job, but duh. I'm the sheriff's daughter. I know what to do. There was a safe in the office. Probably had a gun in it, but I didn't know the combination. Whatever, guess I'll hide under the desk. Deputy Miller will be here soon. More screaming. I heard the beeps of electricity being turned back on. But I didn't see any lights. What did they turn on? Then I smelled it, as I heard a scream that made me vomit. Someone was being burned on the flat top. Hey little bitch, Elaine says hi. I heard a crack, and my coworker was no longer screaming. But the others were. Total and utter fear. Hey, manager, where's that drive-through slut? I sent her home. Told her we'd lock up. She's brand new. Liar. And the manager screamed. Screamed like I had never heard before. And then I smelled grease. Grease and burnt hair and skin. They dumped the fry grease on him. That's the only explanation. The screaming turned to whimpers as I heard them banging through the kitchen. Utterly destroying everything. All 11 of them. Tearing apart the lives of the few people closing. Then I smelled smoke. And a lot of it. I turned my phone screen towards the door just enough to see through the dark. Black smoke was billowing into the office. They lit the place on fire. Hey, drive-through Jenny. You're going to burn alive. Just like Elaine and her Escalade. Her red leather pants sure were fun to watch peel as her skin boiled beneath them. Karyl. I whispered, where is the deputy? Nothing. The line was still active though. Oh my God. I remember. I remember what happened. I glanced out the window of the office door just in time to see the deputy's head on a T-post bouncing in the window. A voice sounded. Hey little miss. Sure have gotten yourself in some trouble there. Too bad Daddy's not here to save you. I threw up again. They found me. They know who I am. How? How is that possible? I was going to die here. And they'd be long gone. The other customers wouldn't be able to tell my dad enough for him to catch them. And we didn't have cameras. Even if the feds got involved, they'd never catch them. So hard to breathe. The smoke was getting thicker. There wasn't any more screaming. I remember hoping their deaths were fast as I embraced my own. Just then I heard one of them yell. Time's up. Let's go. Bitch will burn alive in there, but we can't stay. Fire department from the neighboring town will be here soon. Through the crackles of the flames, the roar of the fire engulfing the restaurant, I knew it was too late for me. I couldn't breathe anymore, and it was hot. I could see the flames starting to engulf the door and flicker through the bottom of the door of the office. The deputy's severed head staring at me through the window, the T-post wedged in a way that blocked that exit. I laid down. That's what I remember. I laid down. I thought of my family. I thought of my future and all my friends out on their vacations. And I thought of my manager, who tried to protect me. And then I heard it. Jenny. Jenny. Karyl? I wheezed. Jenny, old J. Bob, the original owner of the restaurant. He was a prepper. I'm sorry. I had to gather info. When I lost contact with the deputy, I knew it was bad. I asked some old buddies of George's from the bar. They think there's a bunker entrance through the big safe. Don't, no, combo. I know. Can you get to it? Yes. I crawled my way across, taking off my apron and covering my face, barely dodging flames. Try 11. 9, 2, 3. The safe was too hot. I took off my shirt and wrapped my hand as I moved the dial. I was losing oxygen. And fast. Click. Turn. Click. Turn. Click. Turn. Click. Click. And I heard it release. Worked. Karyl. I mustered the only strength I had left and pulled myself up to unlatch the top and open the door. It was just a gun safe. Empty. But still a gun safe. No bunker in sight. But maybe, just maybe I could fit. The safe was fire retardant. I stepped in, and the back moved. I pushed on the backing a little more, and it gave way too. So, I slammed my body weight into the back of the safe. It gave way to a tiny metal room. Just big enough for one person to fit inside. My phone was losing service in there. Metal boxes aren't great for reception. The last thing I remember is yelling over the sound of flames and bangs of the building collapsing around me. Dad. Love you. And I pulled the safe closed. I heard the click. The little room was full of smoke. But at least I'd die from smoke inhalation and not burning to death. That had to be better. Right? Then I woke up in the hospital. I still can't remember their faces. The teenagers who did this. All I can remember about them is their taunting voices, and the screams of those less fortunate than I. Survivor's guilt is real. Drugs made it better for a minute. But Elaine's red suit haunted my memories, even through the drugs. Maybe therapy will work. Maybe it won't. But hey, maybe I'll finally write that book.